the Israeli election is over, and we can see once again Netanyahu won. And I think that the people of Israel deserve Netanyahu. I think Netanyahu is a perfect symbol for what it is the Israeli people want, and what they really are, and what they're really like. For every piece of evil incarnate this man stands for, that is adequately and rightly reflected upon the Israeli population that chose him to be their leader.
I appreciate the decision by Israel's citizens to elect me and my friends against all odds and in the face of powerful forces.
His surprising and crushing victory, the product of an 11th-hour push for right-wing votes, promising there would be no Palestinian state on his watch, and whipping up fear on Facebook with a warning to the base, get out and vote to prevent Arab parties from unseating him.
The right regime is in danger. The Arab voters are coming in huge amounts to the polls.
The Israeli population has knowingly chosen a genocidal maniac to be their head of state. And there is no claiming that this is the fault of those who didn't vote, because there was a 72% voter turnout. So the population certainly did vote, and they certainly did vote for Netanyahu. This is the face that Israel wants for the entire world. This is the man they want. Right before his re-election, when it looked like he actually might not win, the saving grace that brought him into office was saying that he would never recognize Palestinian statehood. The continued genocide of Palestinians is the thing that got him elected. This is what the Israeli people have knowingly chosen. The last 6 years of this man's reign, he has given nothing but fear, anxiety, boogeyman apparitions of Palestinians coming to destroy them all. He has done nothing but sow fear and hatred across that entire country. And if after all that, everything that he's done, the Israeli people choose to have him again, that shows that there is something wrong with the Israeli people. And it shows that there is something very broken about them, broken about their society, that this is the thing that they want to choose. And I think that speaks very loud and clear. What we must never forget is that Israel is a settler, colonizer state. It is nothing more than an extension of what the US and other Western countries have done to the land that they are on right now. Israel is an illegitimate state. It's an Ashkenazi fascist state. It is a racist state. It is, for all intents and purposes, a Nazi state. And it truly is. There are other Jews that don't fit into their pure racial version of Jews, the Ashkenazi Jews, that don't count as being able to have a right to return. Somali Jews, Chinese ethnic Jews, they don't count because they're not the right white, blonde hair, blue-eyed Jews that come from Europe. This is not a reflection of Judaism at all. It's a reflection of what that government is and what it is they consider to be truly Jewish. The fact is the population of Israel cares nothing for the Palestinians. They've openly voted for a man who basically called for their deaths, for them to be totally annihilated. We've all seen the footage of Israelis standing on cliffs with lawn chairs, watching the bombings of Palestine, watching Gaza being bombed to the ground by the Israeli Air Force, and cheering it on like it was a spectator sport, like they were watching a game of football or something like that on television. The first thing that's going to be said in defense is that there are pro-Palestinian activists. You know, there are groups out there working to keep relations between the Palestinians and the Israelis alive, trying to protect the sanctity of Palestinian life. But these exceptions are extremely small and very far in between. These exceptions to the rule do not mean that the rule doesn't exist. This is the very real face of Israel. If there was ever a chance when the true face of Zionism was out there and for everyone to see, the whole world to see, a chance to change that. It was this election, and they didn't. They voted for the exact same thing again. We must acknowledge that the people of Israel, the average Israeli on the street, sees that the continued destruction and genocide of the Palestinians lies in their benefit. Just as first world people know that the destruction and plunder of the third world is for their own benefit and gain, along with their own ruling class, the same is true of Israel as well. They can't go out and get new homes and new settlements unless entire Israeli areas, entire Palestinian areas are wiped out. The partition wall is illegal. It was used specifically to grab pieces of land that they shouldn't even have. But what do? They don't do anything. Those who are against it achieve nothing. They do nothing. And then again, they turn around and vote for the same thing again. There is something very broken and very wrong with the Israeli people. Can we finally admit now that they have sunk to the level of the Nazis? The average German was okay with everything that Germany did to other countries. Why? Because it was in their benefit. Nice trinkets, luxuries were stolen from other countries, stolen from Jews inside the country, and then sold to the public at reduced rates. They were directly benefiting from the plunder of these other countries. Very far from this idea that we have of Hitler being a terrible tyrant that everybody hated. Actually, he was quite popular because he did everything he could to feed his country and his chosen people whatever they wanted to justify all the inhumanities he was carrying out. The German people supported Hitler, just as the Israelis support this psycho today. And I think it's important to acknowledge that the UN does not care. The United States does not care. Both of these organizations have at least some capacity to do something about what is happening, to do something about this genocide that is being carried out. Yet they choose specifically not to. More specifically, the United States chooses to continue it, chooses to support it. Even with all the anger Obama had towards Netanyahu, do you think he's actually going to stop supporting Israel? No, it's going to continue. Every piece of anger or criticism that Obama made of Israel and Netanyahu means absolutely nothing, because all of that support will continue. There are people around the world who want to do something, who want to stop Israel's genocide. Venezuela, the DPRK, Cuba, and some of the more, humanitarian-minded Western European countries. But they can't do anything, because the entire core of the military power sustaining Israel lies in the United States, which also controls the UN. And nothing can be done, because they just monopolize all the force there is. The Palestinian people have no choice but to use violence to defend themselves. If they have a brick, they have a brick. If they have a gun, a knife, an Al-Qassam missile, whatever it is that they have to use it. They don't have a choice. Whatever means are at their disposal to defend themselves from the ongoing genocide against them, they have to use. Whether people think that's unethical or not, whatever means they have to defend themselves is all they have. And they're absolutely right in doing whatever it takes to try to have them all not be exterminated by what is essentially a Nazi state.